Hello and welcome. My name is Ivan, the channel is Hey Ivan, and this is a place where you can ask tech questions. Got a question? Drop a comment, and if you don't have a question, that's okay. If you find value in the video, click like, and consider subscribing to join the movement. Today's video is a walkthrough on how to use word styles from beginning to end. Now, word styles allow you to bring structure to your document, and they can save you a ton of time in the future when you need to make changes to how your document looks throughout. When you apply styles, you're assigning a formatting rule to parts of your document, and that formatting rule can be modified in the future. If you want a deeper dive into what styles are and you want to learn how to use them, check out this video, Word Styles, learn how to apply and modify them. So without any further ado, we're going to jump into Microsoft Word. So if you look here, this is a Word document that's formatted pretty well, or at least it seems to be formatted pretty well. And you know what? Because this is a walkthrough, why don't you go ahead and pull up one of your own documents? If you don't have a document handy, you can create one. Let me show you how to do that. I'm going to go ahead and in Microsoft Word, I'm going to click New Document. Oh, and before we continue, I should mention I'm using Word 365, and you might be using a different version of Word. If you're using any version of Word, whether it's in the web, it's on a mobile device, styles are a thing that you can use. However, on a Windows computer or on an Apple computer, you're going to have more options on how to modify them and even create your own. Let's go ahead and create our document. I'm in the Windows version of Word. I'm going to click Control-N. On any version of Word, you can click File, New, and create a new blank document. This is if you don't have a document to walk through with me as we go. So I've created a new document, and if I'd like to have something to work on so you can follow along with me, you can type $RAND and open paren. This is a bit of functionality that's built into pretty much every version of Word. It allows you to generate several paragraphs of random text. Now, I don't want just a few, I actually want a fair amount of random text. So I'm gonna type the number 10, a comma, and a number 10. And close parentheses. So what this means is give me some random paragraphs. I'd like 10 paragraphs, each of those paragraphs containing 10 sentences. And then you can press enter, and that will generate a fair amount of text that you can use to work on as you follow along with me in this document together. So I've already got a document, so I'm gonna go ahead and close this, and I'm not gonna save it, and we're gonna start on this document here. So there are a few things that I like to do as I get ready to work with styles. Now, you can elect to do these things, or you can elect to not do them, but these things make it easier for me to see what's going on in my document. So the first thing I like to do is turn on the showing of non-printing paragraphs. So I'm gonna go ahead and click this here on the Home tab. That's gonna make every hard return look like this P symbol, that's called a Pilcrow. And it's also gonna make all of my spaces look like little dots. So you can see here between these words here, I have little dots. That makes it really easy for me to tell if a period is followed by one space or two spaces, or if I have a tab character, or if I have 5 spaces instead of a tab character. I like to know that stuff. You definitely don't have to use it, but that, for me, makes a huge difference when I'm racing through documents to apply consistent formatting. The next thing that I like to do is I like to turn on something called the style area. So the style area will show an area on the left-hand side of your document that'll let you know the styles that each paragraph is following throughout. So let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna go to File, we're gonna go to Options, and then we're gonna go here to Advanced, and about halfway down this list, I'm gonna jump down a little bit. There's a thing here called Style Area Pane Width in Draft and Outline View. I'm gonna change that. If it's 0, that means you're not showing anything. I like to make the number 1, as in 1 inch. When I do that, any value that's bigger than 0 is gonna be useful. It'll show the style area, and you can resize it by hand in a moment. So I'm gonna go ahead and click OK. I guess the other thing that I like to do is I like to be in Draft View. So if you're not in Draft View, you can go to the View menu, and you can go to Draft. Print Layout View is the default view that Word opens in. It looks like a sheet of paper, but if you go to Draft View, you can see the style area on the left-hand side of the page, and you'll see across from each one of these hard returns is the name of the style that this paragraph is following. Again, a style is a formatting rule that tells a paragraph what it's supposed to do. And you'll notice that while my document does appear to have some formatting in it, the formatting that it has in there is not styles-based formatting. It's something that Microsoft calls direct formatting, which means that this is formatting directly applied to a paragraph rather than being applied by a rule. If I look here, normal is the style name that this paragraph is following. This next blank hard return here is normal. It's normal all the way down. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, if the document looks okay, is it really important that I change it from normal and apply different styles throughout to control the formatting? My answer to you would be a question. How long is your document? If your document's only a page long, then normal doesn't make a difference. If your document is 20 pages long, 50 pages long, if you have a whole novel, a book, that's important, because when it's time to make changes to how your document looks throughout, you don't want to have to go through and manually change the different parts of your documents over and over again. For example, here, if you look at this heading, what are styles? That heading is bold, it's left aligned, and if I go back to the Home tab here, I can see that it's using Calibri 20. So if I decide at some point in the future that I'd like that heading style to be a different font, maybe not Calibri, maybe Poor Richard or something else, I'd have to go to this one and change it, I'd have to go to that one and change it, and I'd have to go all the way through my document to change it everywhere. This is the value of styles. When it's time to make changes in the future, you're setting yourself up for success. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna go from the beginning to the end of this short little document, this 5-page document, and we'll apply styles, and I'll show you a little bit about how they work. Again, if you want a deeper dive into how to modify and apply styles throughout your document, I do have some videos on the channel that you can check out that show you just how to do that. Okay, so first thing, let's go ahead and click on this first paragraph, and we're gonna remove the formatting from this paragraph. We're gonna do that by going here to the Styles Gallery. We're gonna click this More button, and then we'll click Clear Formatting. What that's going to do is it's going to reapply the normal style and strip away the manual formatting that's been applied. So this tells us that paragraph really looks like that. I'm going to use one of these other styles. Today I'm going to use heading 1. And when I click on that, heading 1 takes over and it makes the text blue. It makes it left aligned. That little black dot, that means keep with next for this paragraph. And we can talk about that in a future video if you like. So now I've applied this heading style here. Let me go ahead and click the next one down here and apply heading to it, just because I want to show you the benefit of using a style. So now I've applied it to 2 paragraphs. I'm going to go back here to what are styles, and I'd like to change this style. One way to change a style is by right clicking the style name in the style gallery, and then you can click modify. And if I wanted to make that text black, I can click here in the drop down. I can go to automatic, which we can talk about in a future video if you like. In this case, automatic means black. Let's say that I wanted to change the font to Verdana, which is my favorite font. I'm going to change this to Verdana. I'm going to leave it at 16 point, and then I'm going to click OK. Watch what happens to both of those paragraphs at the same time. They both inherit the new font, they inherit the new font color, and I only had to change it once for that change to apply in multiple places. So when I'm dealing with a document, I like to start at the beginning and go through paragraph by paragraph to make the changes throughout. The next thing I'd like to do to this heading paragraph is, you notice here I've got a hard return followed by another hard return. I'd like to get the spacing for after that paragraph to be part of my style, so I don't have to press enter, enter after each one of my headings. So what I'm gonna do here is go back into heading, I'm gonna right click on it, click modify, and then here I'll click format, and under format I get access to all of these other attributes that I can change. This time we're gonna go to paragraph, and we can see here all sorts of things that we can change. You see here I've got automatic spacing 12 point. That's the font size measurement. Fonts are measured in points. The rough equivalent of a blank line of space. So this means I have a blank line before my heading. For me, I'm going to turn that to 0, and after I want a blank line of space. Most of the time when I work on documents, I like a blank line of space afterward rather than before. Totally depends on your situation. Before might work for you, after might work for you, or having it set to 0 might work for you too. I want my line spacing to be single, and I click OK here, and watch what happens. Now I have a blank line of space after this one and a blank line of space after that one, which means I don't need this extra hard return here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Now, in general, I like to avoid using the normal style. I think of it as my foundation, and rather than using it everywhere throughout my document, I like to use different styles for different purposes and leave normal alone. Normal is the thing that controls the overall look of my entire document. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to right click here on normal and modify, and I'm going to change the normal font, because you guys already know I like Verdana, so I'll choose Verdana here. 10 point for my font. I'm telling Word for this document, any styles that are based on normal, I'd like them to use the Verdana font in 10 point. And when I click OK, it'll apply that all throughout my document in one fell swoop, because all of the styles by default are based on normal. And what that means is they look to normal to figure out what their font should be, unless they have other instructions on what their font should be. My whole document has changed, except for my headings, which had an instruction of being Verdana in 16 point. So let me go back to normal. And instead of using normal throughout my document, I'm going to use a style called body text, which is a built-in style. Body text you can think of as the paragraph style for text that's just part of the regular body of your document. So let me go ahead and click this more button here, and you'll notice that body text isn't in this list. And if I click the small button here to open up the styles task pane, you'll notice body text isn't in here either. But what I can do is I can click more, I can click apply styles, and in this floating toolbar that appears, there's a style name here, and I'll type body text here, and you'll see that this says apply, which means the style exists in the list. I'm gonna go ahead and apply it. And when I do that, body text now shows up in the styles gallery. If you're interested in controlling which styles are suggested in the styles gallery, you can click options here and you can dig into whether you're showing a recommended set of styles or if you're showing just the styles that are in use or all styles. We're not gonna dig into that today, but if you'd like, let me know in the comments and we can come back and talk about that in a future video. Okay, so I've applied body text. You'll notice that when I clicked the More button and clicked Apply Styles to turn this on, this shows me not only the name, but it lets me reapply the style fresh to the paragraph to kind of get rid of any manual formatting I've applied, or to modify. So this is another way that you can modify a style. You can right click in the style gallery to modify. You can open up the Apply Styles box and modify here. You can click over here on the styles task pane and you can modify there. There are lots of ways. I'll show you another way in a little bit. So we're gonna modify body text so that body text has a paragraph formatting that uses a first line indent. The first line indent is gonna be 1/2 inch. Click OK and you'll see that now I have a first line indent. I would like my body text to also have a blank line of space afterwards. We're gonna right click here and we're gonna modify and we're gonna go back to format paragraph and we're going to ensure that not 0.6 but actually 12 point, and we're gonna use single line spacing. Go ahead and click OK. And so now I have a blank line of space afterwards, which means I don't need this extra paragraph mark at the end. This paragraph should also be body text, and then I can get rid of this blank line. Why does it help to get rid of these extra blank lines? Later on, as I'm navigating my document, I can press Control key, down arrow, to jump to the beginning of the next paragraph, and I don't have to metaphorically trip over all of the extra blank lines that are in my document. It is possible to apply paragraph styles to multiple paragraphs at the same time. Select those paragraphs and click body text, and you can see that I've got some extra hard returns that I'll get rid of. I'm pressing Control and down arrow. So this one's gonna be heading 1. To go through here, I can get through some of the empty paragraphs and so forth. So I think what I'm gonna do at this point is I'm gonna speed through the rest of this so you don't have to follow along and do this exactly. We'll come back in just a moment to normal speed and we'll continue. So let me go ahead and get to work. You know, it occurs to me, it might be useful, depending on your document, for you to select the whole darn thing and apply body text. And that may, so you establish a foundation of body text, and then you can come back and apply the headings just to the heading style. So I'll do that.
A few moments later.
Okay, we've applied the body text style to all of our regular body text paragraphs. We've also applied the heading style to all of our headings. So I'll show you one other way that you can modify styles. You can double click the style name in the style area, which brings up the style dialog box. And then from there, you can click modify, which brings you back to where you can modify. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to make this one format font. Let's take a look and see how it looks with all caps. If I click OK and I click OK, close, and you can see that it's using all caps throughout the entire document. Let's try it with small caps. So I'm gonna double click one more time on heading style to bring up the style dialog box. Gonna click modify, format, font, and this time I'll change it to small caps, click OK, and then close. The small caps get applied throughout. As you'll notice, every heading throughout my document has been updated. It's possible to use automatic numbering as part of your heading styles so that your headings can number themselves. If you're interested in an automatic numbering video, let me know and I can create one of those and show you guys exactly how that works. One last thing I'd like to show you guys how to do is how to put a table of contents in your document. So I'm gonna go up here to the top of my document. Right here at the top, I'll insert a new blank paragraph by pressing Enter. I'll assign that one to title and I'll call this table of contents. There we go. And I'll press Enter here. I'll give myself a little bit of space and then I'll go to References, Table of Contents, Custom Table of Contents, and then here I'll choose one of the formats. We've got from template, classic, distinctive, fancy, modern, formal, and sample. I tend to like the formal one the best. So let's go ahead and click OK. And now we've included a table of contents at the top of the document. I have words set to show me fields in gray so that I can identify them quickly, but by default, they'll only appear gray when you click anywhere near them. And when you click away, they'll change to look like regular text once more. That's something you can change under the word options. So that's it. We've walked through how to set up this document and apply styles from beginning to end. Drop a comment and let me know if you have questions about the topic, or if you have a specific situation you're trying to address with one of your own documents. I'm curious to know whether what I'm sharing with you is actually of value. So please do let me know. If you found value, click like, consider subscribing. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.